Hello and welcome to this brief training series. My name's James McCracken, founder of The Successful Advisor, and as the title says, how to work remotely and or do online meetings. Now, the reason I've put this training together is clearly with the current environment that we're in, exploring avenues to still remain relevant, to still connect, interact with clients and or with team members. I thought this was going to be helpful to give you a sense of the what, the why, and the how you might consider doing this. So there's absolutely various ways you can go about it. What I'm going to share with you today is for sure not the only ways to do it, but they are ways that you can absolutely get you started and set yourself up in terms of the so-called infrastructure that you might need. So firstly, why do this, right? There's convenience for you insofar as if you're wanting to operate from a home office, you potentially may not want to be associating with lots of people, particularly if the office that you would otherwise share is in a co-working space, etc. It's simple to operate online infrastructure, or in other words, online meetings, and connect with your clients that way. Very, very straightforward. It certainly provides avenues for choice, both for you to engage and interact with people, as well as for your clients to connect and interact with you. And in some cases, I'd go so far as to say that clients will be happy that you provided this option, because it means that they don't need to come and see you face to face. They don't need to organise someone to look after the kids if they're going to see you after hours. And instead, they can potentially do things differently that's both helpful and convenient for you. It's going to save you both time. So instead of you needing to potentially be in the car and driving out to someone's house, certainly this is going to reduce your time doing what you might call less productive things, and again, useful and convenient for your clients. And if you wanted to, you can record these meetings. So, the meeting I'm recording right now it's an example of that, but there's going to be usefulness in if you're doing a client interview and you wanted to capture that data, so to speak. Well, you certainly can. You can absolutely let the client know that it's being recorded, and you can just capture it as an MP3, an MP4, and you can upload it to the client folder just for your own so-called notes or reference if you needed them. So with that said, things that you need to know. So I'd go so far as to say that some people will think that setting this infrastructure up is potentially cumbersome, challenging, etc. The reality is that it isn't, and it can be done very, very quickly. It's also a reality that you don't necessarily need to do it all yourself. Now, I'm going to walk you through in the second one of these videos how to go about setting some of these tools up. But if you just want to delegate that task to someone, then absolutely you could and should, because your time is best spent, of course, operating your business in the most productive manner. But in any case, it's reasonably straightforward to set up. And like it says there, working remotely doesn't necessarily mean working from home, albeit it could mean that. It just means working in a remote capacity to what you might have otherwise done. In other words, if you were always seeing clients face to face, you might still be going into your office, but you might just be connecting with them online. So it's also fair to say that a lot of the tech stuff that you can set up is free. Not all of it. You may not want to just use free stuff, but there's certainly plenty of options out there that you can get started for free. Like I was inferring earlier, I reckon you'll find some people will be quite grateful that you're providing them this option to connect with you, because all things being fair and even, I know there's a mindset to say if a client can't get in the car and drive half an hour to see a broker for the biggest investment they'll ever make in their life, i.e. their home loan, then how committed are they? Well, I think there's truth to that statement, but yet if we can provide them an option where you can still facilitate the conversation without them needing to get in the car, then obviously that's useful. And I think the overarching theme that we have here, and hence the asterisk, is because this is about opportunities and options to facilitate communication. And having been using these platforms for many years myself, you'll find that some of the tools that I'll be walking you through, the clarity of the conversation that you have with people is exceptional. So unless you have a terrible internet connection, the actual quality of communication is first class. So again, that provides for a great quality experience for you and for your clients. So in terms of some tools, let's just have a look at some basics, right? You're going to need an internet connection, right? Like the proverbial no-brainer, of course, right? Next one is some type of webcam. Again, that's for the visual side of things, and particularly if you're looking to ID clients, which you may well need to, then naturally that comes in handy. There's going to be an online meeting platform that you'll need in order to facilitate the conversations. You'll need some type of microphone and an online calendar booking system so that people can see your availability and book in accordingly. So let's just break this down one by one. And this is the last slide in this particular video. In the second video, I'll be walking you through some specifics around how to connect some of these tools and make them talk with each other. And again, I'm keeping this fairly simple, but your internet options are clearly broadband, NBN, or if you're out and about, then your mobile hotspot. The webcam, now most laptops these days do come with a built-in webcam, and for the most part they're pretty good, right? I used one of those for years, so you can certainly get away with that. If you want to spend a bit of money, you could spend about $120 on a tool like this Logitech C22. There's cheaper ones out there without question, but this captures a very, very high quality of audio. It also captures a very high quality of imagery as well. In other words, the actual quality of the cam itself is exceptional, and frankly, it's a really small investment to help you communicate and present yourself in the most professional light to your clients. In terms of online conferencing type software, the reality is, right, there's heaps of options out there. I've only listed a couple. You could certainly find far more options, and frankly, you could spend a small fortune on some of them. Example, there's a tool called GoToMeeting. Absolutely, you could do that, but you don't need to, right? So these are tools that you will get away with, and that will more than adequately present your business professionally, help you still engage and connect with your clients, and allow you to do what you need to do, which is to facilitate good quality conversations. So one of them is called Zoom, and it's the platform that I've personally been using for several years, and I couldn't recommend it highly enough. Now, just to be really clear, I don't get paid anything to recommend it, so I'm recommending it because it works only. Another tool I also use, and I'm sure you've used, is Skype. And there's if you use a Mac particularly, there's something called Ecamm, so ECAMM. I can't be sure if that also works with a Windows-based platform, but certainly if you have a Mac and you use Ecamm, it allows you to record the conversations on Skype, which means it captures both the video and the audio, and you can just extrapolate the audio out of that if you needed to, in order to essentially keep that file on record if you needed that. So that's just something to be aware of. In terms of options for microphone, well, the microphone I'm talking to you on right now is one called the Zoom H1 USB microphone. Now, this microphone's frankly about 10 years old, yet works as well today as it did 10 years ago. Has no relationship whatsoever to the Zoom online meeting software. In fact, this Zoom microphone was in existence well before Zoom online meeting software ever came about. And of course, you've got by the way, this costs around $150. Absolutely not a mandatory tool, just a very, very useful tool to have. And frankly, it's a fairly cost-effective microphone that plugs straight into the computer and does an exceptional job. But in any case, if you just wanted to just stick with the absolute bare essentials, then the built-in microphone that you have with your laptop generally works pretty well. And I've facilitated dozens and dozens of conversations on that only, so it will still be more than adequate. If you want to use an online calendar booking system, there's many options out there. So the one I use and that works best for my business is one called Schedule Once. It's about $15 per month for having a couple of meeting options. In other words, one that's say 15 minutes, another one that might be a bit longer than that. Calendly, which you can get away with for free, I'm quite sure, as an entry-level type product, and it's actually in some ways easier to set up than Schedule Once. So if you want the real simple, then I'd suggest this is where you want to start. And on Microsoft Office, if you're a Microsoft Office user, it actually has the ability to share or get people to book directly into your calendar through that. And so if I was you, go on to Google, do a search for Microsoft Office 365 online calendar booking, and you'll find that you'll actually get a there's a web page out there that will show you exactly how to go about that. So those are the tools that you'll need, right? There's other options out there that can be a little bit more expansive in terms of functionality, etc. But frankly, these are some really core, simple, relevant tools that will be all you need to run your conversations, capture the conversations, visually through something like this. You can also capture them in an audible capacity, because you can still record online meetings through Zoom. So you have them as MP4s, you can have them as MP3s, and you can make it convenient for your clients to see times when you're available in your calendar, etc. So with that in mind, I'm going to be showing you in the next video how to get Schedule Once set up to talk to Zoom, and similarly how to connect Calendly to Zoom as well, just so you can see how to do these options, because once you've got that ready to go, then you can start sharing those links with your clients, and of course start organizing for appointments to be booked in. So thanks for your attention on this one. I look forward to seeing you on the second video as well.